Carol Burnett, so nice to be with you all night on this Thanksgiving Friday.
Happy Friday.
Thank you for sticking around with us. We've got one more movie to talk about, and it's a real classic from 1933, 42nd Street. Directed by Lloyd Bacon, but really kind of directed by Busby Berkeley,
Yeah, of course.
who did all of the great musical numbers. And I can only imagine that the Busby Berkeley genre must have been something you were very excited to do a takeoff on.
Well, was very excited, and so was our choreographer, Ernie Flatt, who was with us all 11 years, and I knew he also choreographed the Karen Moore show. But in this one, you will never see a more frightened human being in your life because I had to learn to tap dance, and I had never done it before, and I was terrified.
You would never know that you had never done it before, Carol.
Oh, if you look at my face, I'm not very happy doing it.
Well, for people who are about to watch the movie 42nd Street, pay special attention to Ruby Keeler because she's the character that you end up playing in the spoof. But we should tell people this cast is just tremendous. Warner Baxter, Ginger Rogers, Dick Powell, Una Merkel, B.B. Daniels. There's so many wonderful people in this film. It just makes it so much fun.
Right.
But I want to ask about the Warner Baxter character because he's a tough cookie.
You're going to work and sweat and work tomorrow. You're going to work days and you're going to work nights and you're going to work between time when I think you need it.
And that was Harvey.
And that's Harvey in the spoof. Have you ever in your travels, whether on stage or television or anything, had a director like that who was a real taskmaster?
I've had good luck. You know, I remember Robert Altman. I loved working with him. I did a wedding with him and a couple of other things. He got us all together before we were going to film. And he said, here's the story. And if any of you have an idea about a scene that we're going to do for dialogue, come to me. I want to hear it. Because he said some of my best scenes, you never hear a director say that, have been contributed to me by my actors.
Wow. How generous.
Tell me. And John Huston with Annie, he did 2 takes. Boom. He just knew what he wanted. I remember I went to him on the first scene that I was going to do, and I was nervous. It's Miss Hannigan. And I went to him and I said, Mr. Huston, he used to call me John, dear. And I said, how do you see me doing this scene? And he said, just cavort, dear. Just cavort. Okay.
Was that enough
That was
for you?
his direction.
Right. Wow,
just cavort. That's what I hired you to do. You know?
Well, that's what a professional does.
So when you ask about directors, I've had the best, and they've been very good.
There's so much to enjoy in 42nd Street, particularly the end, because that's when you get to all the Busby Berkeley numbers. There's Young and Healthy, the great number with Dick Powell, where you see all the women's legs with the camera going through.
And the way it was shot, you know, with the camera above everybody.
It's just amazing what Busby Berkeley was able to achieve in the 1930s, isn't it?
Yeah.
And whenever I see Dick Powell, I always think of Debbie Reynolds because, of course, she had such a crush on him. And then they finally got to work together in Susan Slept Here. So whenever I see Dick Powell, I always think that's Debbie Reynolds' crush. And
dreams do come true.
isn't that right? When you think back to growing up and watching these classic films, and the reason I love 42nd Street is the backstage of it all, right?
Yeah.
The person who breaks their ankle and someone has to go on at the last minute. Were those the kinds of films that you found yourself attracted to?
Definitely. Musicals more than anything. They took me to a whole other world. And I would come home, and my best girlfriend, Isla Mae, and I would play Betty Grable and June Haver. I, of course, insisted I had to be Betty.
All right. Well, we have a lot more to talk about when we watch your spoof, 43rd Street. But right now, from 1933, let's watch the movie. Here is 42nd Street. Well, Carol, as I said before the movie, I just love watching those Busby Berkeley numbers. And to see you do your own takeoff on them is really special. So here it is from 1971. Do the honors.
43rd Street.
Enjoy. Carol, I love your 43rd Street spoof. Was it always so clear that you were going to be Ruby Keeler?
Oh, absolutely. And I thought Mel did very well doing Dick Powell.
Yes, he did.
He kind of sounded like him
Yeah.
and everything. And then, of course, wonderful Nan and Harvey being the director and even Lyle being the assistant choreographer.
Yeah.
As I said, I was terrified when I had to do that tap dance because I'm not a dancer and I'm certainly not a tap dancer. And so when Ernie Flatt, our choreographer, said, well, you got to, because that's the whole point of the show. So he blocked it out, and I had one of our dancers, stay with me after rehearsals to work with me all week to do that. But I was absolutely terrified.
It came out great.
I got through it. But it was not great, but I got through it.
Well, now that you're telling me this, it kind of mirrors the 42nd Street movie because Ruby Keeler's character has to cram to go on
Right.
on the opening night.
So I used that in my mind, okay.
And of course, I love the fact that you take this small bit from the movie where she faints, and then
She keeps fainting.
you do it that she just keeps fainting over and over again with the leg up each time. I mean, it's great. I mean, those physical comedy bits, were those fun for you to help come up with?
Yes, I started doing physical comedy on the Gary Moore Show. I'd never done it. Neil Simon was the junior writer on Gary's show. We used to call him Doc Simon. And he wrote a sketch. Durward Kirby, who was also a second banana on the show along with me, he's in a hospital room and his head is all bandaged. And I come in and I'm saying, Jack, how do you feel? And he said, not too good, Jill. I said, why'd you have to go up that hill? Well, I needed to fetch a pail of water. And then I fell down and broke my crown. And then the doctor comes in, and it's scary. He said, Jill, what are you going to do? And my line was, I guess I'll just go tumbling after. And I was supposed to jump through the window and leave, okay? And that was written. So in rehearsal, we just said, okay, Carol jumps out of the window here. Okay, now we're on the set. I had never done a stunt. And the director came out, he said, are you sure you know how to? Oh, sure, I can do it, I can do it. No, I had never, so comes through, I said, I'll just go tumbling after. And I jumped out of the window and I landed on a mattress. And I sat up and I said, oh, thanks for the mattress. But I thought I was going to go splat. I didn't even think to look at all. But from then on, I taught myself how to fall and do things like when we did the Gone with the Wind sketch.
We talked about this, and you
I fell down
in
the
such a way.
stairs like 9 times in one day with rehearsal and all of that.
And you never tensed up your body.
Exactly. I remember Jerry Lewis called me once, and he was worried about me. He said, I'm worried about you. You take too many pratfalls.
You do.
But I was better off than he was because he really injured himself.
Wow.
But I never did.
When you think back to this 43rd Street sketch, was it fun to be yelled at by Nanette Fabre?
Oh, I loved it. Wasn't she funny in that?
Hilarious.
I kept destroying this poor woman. She was good about it.
You guys were so good at doing a joke over again, but not too much. Like, you knew exactly when
To stop. Sometimes.
Of course, I took note of your kiss with not only Mel Torme in this sketch, but also Harvey. You were quite the kissing bandit in this sketch. Yeah. Was that enjoyable?
It's a nice way to earn money.
I also noticed that great edit where the suitcase opens.
Oh, yes.
And then the next shot is the huge suitcase with all the dancers in it.
Yeah.
And that must have been a real thrill for your directors and writers to come up with ways to...
Absolutely. And that, again, was a combination of Ernie Flatt and our director, Dave Powers.
This one, when I watch it, I really think, and I know you're being very modest about your tap dancing, but you really could do it all, and you can do it all. Singing, dancing, serious moments, hilarious moments. I was just in awe of everything that you were able to accomplish. It's the perfect format for you.
Thank you.
As is this, by the way.
I love that. I am so thrilled that we're able to do this. I can't thank you enough. I am, before with all the Mildred Pierce and the other ones, and now doing the musicals, you've made my Thanksgiving pretty special.
I'm so glad, Carol. It's been lovely to be with you these past 2 nights. Let's figure out a way to do this in third time, okay?
I'm so glad we had this time together.
That's what I'm always thinking when I'm sitting with you. Well, please stick with us because coming up next on TCM, another terrific movie. As always, it's uncut and commercial free.